Today is World Mission Sunday. Every year, 2 Sundays before the season of Lent begins, we have an opportunity to think about world mission, the things that are happening around the world to promote the gospel and spread God's kingdom all over the globe. This year, we decided to invite some of the missionaries that we support as a congregation to send us video reports from the field and let us know a little bit more about what's going on in their individual ministries. The first missionaries we will hear from are Brent and Kim McHugh.
Hello, greetings from Malaga, Spain. We would just like to thank you so much for your prayers and your financial support through the years. We really feel those and are encouraged by those all the time. And just wanted to give you a report today about how things are going here. First of all, I'd like to thank you very much for always praying for our family and our personal lives as well. So our children and our 3 grandchildren are doing very well, and our parents are in good health. So we thank you so much for keeping them in your prayers. One exciting thing that happened this week is that a man named Mo, who was part of the ministry in Turkey, who became a believer in Jesus there, he's married. And just this week, he arrived on the field to serve as a long-term worker with Christar among least reached peoples in a Middle Eastern country. So he and his wife will be serving there long-term. So we thank you so much for your prayers for the work that was done in Turkey and that continues today.
Yeah, so some big goals that we have organizationally, we call them 2 by 2 by a half. The first one is that we wanted to see our average team size increase, and we've seen some growth in that in the last year, growing from 3 to 4 members on each of our teams. The second was to double our engagement of least reached people groups, and we're now at 59 unengaged people groups that are engaged through the Christar International Network. And lastly, we wanted to cut our church planting time in half, and I think that's through fruitful practices. And in the last 2 years, we've seen that reduced by 2 years by using fruitful practices and using some of the things on a wider basis that we learned and implemented in our ministry in Turkey. Locally in Malaga, a lot of exciting things happening. If you're not familiar and haven't seen the news, we become the largest receiver of refugees across the Mediterranean in 2018 for all of Europe. And that number continues. In the last month, we've had almost 7,000 people arrive in the shores here, coming on boat across the Mediterranean. We have 2 big projects. The first is a partnership with Liberty University, sending us about 300 students this year in 2019, leveraging their academic studies and their talents to help us engage least reached refugees right here in Malaga province. We're really excited about that, and we're about to receive 100 students next month to begin that. We had a pilot in January, went very well, and now it's really coming up to speed. And secondly is Startup Academy. So the refugees that are arriving, one of the biggest challenges is unemployment, and a fruitful practice is to engage them well, to have a respected name in the community for us. And so by Startup Academies helping them to start micro enterprises has led to Discovery Bible Study with a number of refugees here in Malaga province. So we are grateful for your support. We covet your prayers and ask that you drop us an email. We'd be glad to hear from you.
Yeah, so our 3 prayer requests will be related to the things that were mentioned today, the 3 goals for Brent's term as international director, also for the G5 initiative, the arrival of these students from Liberty University, and for the Startup Academy to work on the problem of unemployment for refugees and immigrants here in the Malaga area. So we really appreciate your prayers for that, and we thank you so much for those prayers and for your financial support. Thanks a lot, and like Brent said, contact us if you want to ask any questions or want to know more about what's happening.
Yeah, God bless you, and thanks again for your support.
Thanks, bye-bye.
Last September, we had a visit from Paul and Karen Davis, 2 missionaries who have been working in France for many years. They shared with us some stories about how they ended up in their present town and some of the struggles that they've had in securing a permanent place for worship. We also got to hear about how they ended up in the facility that they're in right now through God's provision. And so they now have a place every week for evangelism and discipleship and worship. Over the next few years, the Davises have plans to raise up new leaders for their local congregation and then move into more of a regional support role, helping other churches to get started throughout the valley in which they live. In 2019, we began supporting 2 new missionary families. The first family is Nate and Erica Twitchell, and they're 2 children and 2 more children on the way. They're about to have twins. And the Twitchells run an Anglican gap year program called Agape Year, in which students in their late teens and early 20s take a year off from school to participate in local mission opportunities as well as foreign mission opportunities, planting seeds of missionary activity in their young adult years and hopefully allowing those seeds to grow and flourish throughout the rest of their adult lives. This family visited us with their first group of fellows last March, and we hope to see them again this coming spring when they come back through town again. The other new family that we're supporting this year are Hunter and Stephanie Van Wagenen. This couple is raising support to go live full-time in Spain along the El Camino de Santiago, an ancient pilgrim road where people come and spiritually seek each year as they hike along this trail. Here's a greeting from the Van Wagenens.
Good morning, Good Sam. I'm Hunter Van Wagenen. This is my wife, Steffi, and our 8-month-old son, Asher. Some of you might remember Steffi from when she was a member of Good Sam up until she was about 10 years old. We are currently missionary candidates with the Society of Anglican Missionaries and Senders, or SAMS, and we are preparing to go to the mission field and serve on the Camino de Santiago in Spain.
The Camino de Santiago is an ancient Christian pilgrimage that is 500 miles long across the northern part of Spain. Nowadays, over 300,000 people a year walk some portion of the Camino, and many of them are spiritual seekers who are looking for truth or blessing. And yet many people leave without hearing the gospel or encountering Jesus. And so we are called to go to the Camino and be a Christian presence to share the love of Christ with those who are walking. We would love for you to be praying for those who are right now preparing to walk the Camino this year. Pray that they would encounter Jesus and hear the gospel. We are so thankful for your support, for your prayer and your financial support, and your congregation is very dear to our hearts. So thank you all so much. God bless.
The final mission organization to update you about this year is the Lillian Wachuka Memorial Clinic in Wenjengi, Kenya, a rural village that is part of a regional community of about 50,000 individuals. And this clinic provides really the only medical care available to those 50,000 individuals. The closest hospital is quite a few miles away, and it's quite a burden for people to be able to get there. And so this clinic provides primary care as well as maternity support and help in crisis for things like farm accidents. Unfortunately, this year, the clinic is facing some difficulty because the government regulations have changed around healthcare clinics and organizations, and so the government is requiring them to update their facilities in order to continue practicing medicine. And because of this, they have quite a large fundraising goal that they have to meet in order to be able to reopen the clinic and continue providing medical support to the people there. We'll keep you updated on their fundraising efforts as they reach out to individuals and foundations and try to get the clinic back open. We continue to support a number of other missionaries and mission organizations, including Trinity School for Ministry, an evangelical Anglican seminary in Pennsylvania, the Iris Children's Home in Sudan, and our own Michelle Perry. For more information on any of these missionaries or mission organizations, please get in touch with me or any of the members of the Mission Committee at Good Samaritan Anglican Church, and we'd be happy to update you on what's going on and to help you get involved in the mission activity of our church and around the globe. May God continue to expand his kingdom through the work of these missionaries, as well as through the work of this congregation here in our own local community in Clay County, Florida. God bless you all.